Joining us now with more on the impact of the shutdown, Libby Cantrill, PIMCO, head of U.S. Public Policy. We could go down the list of things to talk about. I guess the latest I saw was that President Trump said some of these agencies are not coming back. If Democrats take a note of the possible negative effects on them from keeping it closed?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just in general, both sides think that they have a winning hand here, and our expectation is that the government may stay shut down at least until November. We may actually go into Thanksgiving with a government shutdown. Republicans have, rightly said that they have passed a funding bill that historically Democrats have supported, a clean funding bill at current levels. Democrats, however, obviously have been sort of in the wilderness, have had a hard time coalescing around an issue, have had a hard time sort of resonating with their base, and they believe this is a political winner by drawing attention to the expiring ACA subsidies.
When Congressman Lawler walked up to Leader Jeffries and said, here's a one-year extension of exactly what you want. Yeah. Will you sign on to that and reopen the government? And he didn't say yes. Could they do that? Was that an actual offer to Leader Jeffries? I
mean, my view is whatever happens in the Senate is the most important indicator. I think that the House is a little perfunctory right now. Obviously, the House is gone. Yeah. And the fact that the House is likely to be gone at least until next week shows you that this government shutdown is going to be much more long-lasting than people expected.
Why? The Senate could vote on it today if they got five more Democrats.
Yeah, and I think what Leader Thune has said is that may not be such a simple vote for Republicans in the Senate. I think this is the issue, is that this is not just about government funding. This is about the Obamacare and about this extension of these expiring subsidies. And many Republicans historically have not supported either. And so this is not something that is going to be super straightforward for the Republican leaders in order to get passed. So this is why, again, kind of all signs are pointing to, from a market's perspective, all signs are pointing to a much more prolonged shutdown than what people expected. And that obviously has then nonlinear economic impacts the longer this lasts.
So the Senate soon might not be able to promise it will do something with the subsidies, because he might not have the support with
Yes, and this needs, and this needs 60 votes, both the funding of the government, but also the ACA subsidies. And so this is, again, this is not going to be straightforward. We've been, sort of warning our clients into the, before even the fall and the summer, that should the government shut down, there was no sort of natural catalyst for it to reopen. And that is proving correct. Now, again, I think the market is sort of shrugging this off. This is not a big deal. But, our view is that the longer this occurs, the more that you have 1.5 million people not getting paid.
Well, the military
CPI data collections not happening. I mean, this starts to actually have an economic.
Should Trump have found a way to the president have found a way to pay the military, or if they weren't getting paid, would that put more pressure on Democrats to come to the table?
I think he just made the calculus that it's better to not play politics with
the military.
With the military, probably a good political choice as well. But yeah, I think that's probably what the calculus is. I think there's some questions about, can he actually reappropriate some of this tariff money to pay for this food, supplemental nutrition program? I think there's, maybe some questions about that. Again, is anyone going to litigate that? You can't just
take longer to litigate it than hopefully it'll take the government to reopen.
Well, yes, I know, and we're not trying to be Chicken Little here, but again, they're just the political incentives are such that, both sides are quite dug in, and that's pointing to, again, a much longer shutdown.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The assumption that the government was going to reopen is one that we've all been victim to, that we've all kind of played along with. Yeah. You saw things otherwise. The assumption that something would get done with the health care vouchers was also something that people are making. You think that's not the case? Because those two things are both pretty big headwinds.
I think any sort of resolution to this is going to require some sort of compromise on health care. It's just a question of how long it takes to get there. And maybe it is just a one-year extension. Again, I would sort of discount what the folks in the House are saying. I think that all of the action is going to be in the Senate. And the Senate is back in session. The House is not back in session. So, again, it's not to say that this is completely out of touch or, out of reach here. But, again, it seems like it's going to take longer to actually get it.
When is that No Kings rally? that's coming. Is it?
I don't have it on my calendar.
It's not.
I'm not sure when
I believe
that's happening.
I believe I know. I think it's Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
And then I think it's is
What,
it
getting ready
this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. No, I was kidding. That was funny though, right? Kind of funny.
Kind of funny.
But again, I think
Is there something to it that Schumer and others don't want those people coming into town if they've caved? And they want, because you said
yes. I mean, yes.
What do you mean?
You know better than I do.
No, I don't. So this is, this is a softball?
Totally.
You said they're in the wilderness and they're waiting for these left crazies to come in and to be able to say, we're standing
Those
tough.
are your words, not mine. I think
You already said that they're in the wilderness and it's all political.
Well,
I'm trying to be nice.
Think look, there is still obviously a lot of debate within the Democratic Party about the loss in November and what was the catalyst last November. This is the one kind of issue that voters really care about. If you look at the sort of the top issues that voters actually vote on, healthcare is always in the top 3. So they are sort of making the political calculus that even though it's inconvenient for the government to shut down, and again, I think as a markets practitioner, we're just worried about these sort of nonlinear effects, both in terms of data collection, in terms of consumption behavior. Also, you're already having some headwinds to the economy going into the end of this year.
It's not good to have all those videos of the same Democrats talking about they would never, if Republicans shut down the government for this, it's the worst. They're the worst human beings on the planet for what they're doing to the government. No one's going to fix health care in the next week.
In 3 weeks. Yeah, but
you need to get the government open, and then, I'm sorry, then, Republicans are in charge. Then you got to work with the other party. I'm sorry.
And Joe, as you know,
it's a big, mean world out there.
On how things are, not how they should be. I mean, I think that this is going to be, this is intractable. And as a result, pointing to a longer shutdown.